Welcome back to another episode of It's in the Details. As always, please remember to share, like, subscribe, rate, review, comment wherever you get the show. We are going to be spending some time with The Harder They Fall, Black Western. Okay? But before we get into that, I'm a Survivor lover. I have not missed a season of Survivor. This current season is the 41st. And Survivor does its thing. It goes through its ups and downs. The game changes. The game drastically changed the way it was played by the contestants. I think 7 or 8 years ago, they started using voting blocks. Alliances have started to kind of crumble and go to the wayside. And it's like, whoever I can trust, that's who I'm sticking with. That's kind of where it is now. I think the pandemic really switched up this most recent season, where they cut the amount of times the game runs for from like 39 days to like 27 days. They're eliminating doubles, 2 people at a time in multiple weeks. They didn't give these people any food. Usually they give them some rice. They got to earn the way to fish, things like that, right? But they've amped it up. They've made it more difficult. I don't really want to talk about any of that, though. What I want to talk about is it's taken me 41 seasons to realize how awesome it must be to walk through a jungle on a tropical island and get to a competition. 41 seasons. Like, I understand they're on an island. They climb up some peaks. They get beautiful views of oceans and other islands. That's fantastic. I understand sometimes they get on a boat. They put them on a boat on the ocean. They go to another island or just a man-made contraption to do a competition. But I never really considered walking through a jungle and then ending up in a clearing in the middle of the jungle where they've hack some trees to bits, and seeing Jeff Probst in a competition. It's got to be pretty cool. It's got to be very cool. I had the pleasure, the luck, the benefit of going to Maui at one point in my life. And shout out to the person I went to Maui with. If you're listening, hope you're doing well, right? But I went to Maui and walked through a jungle, some rainbow-colored eucalyptus trees towards the beginning of the little walk. And we walked through the jungle, and we ended up oceanside. Did some snorkeling, right? Once you're maneuvering through this jungle, you see all these. I'm a tree person. I like to see the different vegetation on different parts of the earth. So I really enjoyed all these trees I saw. Saw some wild chickens just running through, clucking through the jungle. And then eventually ended up on a rock shore with a beach. And did some snorkeling, saw some sea urchins, saw all sorts of things. But I'll never forget when it finally started to clear up and you could hear the waves lapping against the rocks. And then ocean and fun, right? Nice waves, not crazy waves. Just fun. And I'm imagining now being on an island with 10, 12 other people I'm trying to eliminate, and we don't have any food, and I'm gonna walk through a jungle and find Jeff Probst waiting for me to exert all of the energy I've got left, hoping I win a competition and get some reward food. You know, I wonder if there's anything sweeter in one of those Survivor contestants' lives than making that walk, winning that competition, getting a belly full of food, and knowing you're safe. There's got to be, nothing. I mean, winning the whole show would be better, but that's got to be pretty fun. And I mean, I just thought I'd share that with the people. A little story from my life, watching stories in other people's lives. I'd also like to talk to you for a second week in a row about Power. Book 2, Ghost. Yeah. It really is a strong show. It is second episode, and everything's upside down, topsy-turvy. What's going to happen? One of the really interesting things that happened in this episode, this most recent episode, no spoilers, Mary J. Blige. I know, right? But when I talk about the roller coaster of Mary J. Blige and this show, MJB had some serious downs in this episode, but some huge ups as far as I'm concerned. There were two major things. One, when she is upset with her husband, okay? Not upset with her children or any other criminals. When she's upset with her husband, MJB puts down the acting. Believable. I believed every inch of her being pissed off with her husband. It was like, how many husbands are in MJB's past? How many husbands did she have to train? I don't know what was going on in her real life past, but she brought it to the screen. Okay. I was like, ooh, Mary J. Blige is not really acting anymore. She's just being herself, but she's also acting. She's also bringing those emotions to her face, finally, and to the screen. It was amazing. I could not believe it. The other part about Mary J. Blige's acting in episode 2 was it was really strong when she was flirting. There's a character in the show. I said no spoilers. There's a character in the show that she gets a little flirty with. There's some history, right? And she is 100% believable again in that role. And I'm not really sure what this says about her abilities to act. I don't know if she's fully in with all the crime and drug stuff that her character participates in. She can't. I don't know that Mary J. Blige has ever sold any drugs or had to. Well, she probably has not had to shoot anybody, but that real hard crime stuff, it's not coming across on the screen. It's not getting there. But the other stuff, the emotions with men, believable. I can't believe how good it is. And I am hoping that they've given her a new little wrinkle in this storyline where she's going to really get to show off some chops. Because we got 2 minutes, 3 minutes with the husband, 1-2 minutes with some flirting. And that's the Mary J. Blige I want to see in Power. Also, I told you Redman is in the show. Redman was not in episode 2, but a picture of Redman was in episode 2. It was a mugshot. And this is one of the worst pictures I've ever seen in my whole life. There's no way it's a real picture. It can't. If it's a real picture, is Redman okay? Like the real Red, is he okay? Because he looks outrageous. Okay? Just unbelievable. If it's not a real picture, like I suspect, and it is a digital rendering, if you will, fire him. Fire whoever made that picture. Unless we're going to find out later there's a reason you made Redman look so terrible in this picture. What could the reason be? I, he's not beat up. It's just a regular head-on profile shot. That's all it is. And his facial hair is crazy. His hairline is nuts. His face doesn't even look like his face. We just know it's him because it kind of looks like him, and the character looking at the picture is his boy. If it's a real picture of Redman, I apologize for what I said. But man, look it up. It's a wild picture. Outside of that, the show is phenomenal. They did not bring Tommy back yet. I need some Tommy. Every episode. I know this is in his spinoff, but get him in it. Put him in it more. I know I understand what the storyline is doing with Tommy, but we need some more Tommy. He could be lurking around in the shadows. That's what Tommy does best. Okay, I think I'm a little bit late to this. The Harder They Fall came out, I think, about a month ago. I saw a lot of press. I saw a lot of pictures being taken at premieres and things like that. And it actually fell off my radar. I forgot to watch it. And then something popped up, I don't know, social media. Maybe Netflix showed it to me again. I'm not sure. But I watched it this past weekend. And I cannot describe, I'm going to try, but I cannot describe how thoroughly I enjoyed this movie. I'm going to try. But The Harder They Fall is a black Western. Black Western meaning a Western movie with a bunch of black people in it. 98% black people. What's the significance of that? I don't think they've done one of these before, is the significance of that. They might have done something remotely similar back in the 70s. I watched the movie. I looked up a list of black Western movies. And the number one that pops up is Django Unchained. I thought about Django Unchained when I was watching this, and then I remembered Jamie Foxx was Django, who's the primary character in the movie. Samuel L. Jackson was another one, and Kerry Washington was the lead female in the movie. And the difference between Django Unchained and The Harder They Fall is all those people in Django Unchained were slaves. Okay? They were slaves. It was a Western. It was back in them times. And they were all slaves. Django got some freedom, but everybody else were slaves. The Harder They Fall, these are just citizens. They're just citizens. And it is quite a depiction that they've created. They start this movie out basically saying, everything you're about to see did not actually happen, but these people really existed. And that sent my mind spiraling off in so many different directions, thinking about if you take real people and you create a story for them, you can do whatever you want. You're not tied to the trueness or truthiness, as Stephen Colbert used to say. You're not tied to that in the same way as trying to tell a real story. And it just flourishes from there. It just flourishes. You've got Idris Elba. You've got Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Damon Wayans Jr. There's so many people in this movie, right? Delroy Lindo. That's the other thing that this movie did, is it created this essentially brand new genre, right? An essentially brand new genre. And they merged the perfect combination of youthful, young, successful actors and actresses and seasoned, experienced actors and actresses. Okay? Regina King, she can't be that old, right? But she's been on your television screen, she's been on your movie screen forever. Idris Elba, same deal. A few episodes ago, I might have talked about Idris Elba's old ass. He's only like 45. He's not that old at all. Okay? Then you got Delroy Lindo. Delroy Lindo is the G of all G's from all the movies back when I was growing up. He was in everything. He typically was not a character you wanted to cheer for, which is fine. He had to be a little grimy. That's fine. He was acting, right? But they put both of them in this, Idris and Delroy Lindo. Perfect. Then you got the youth. You got Lakeith Stanfield, who's been killing it and coming up. Jonathan Majors, I've seen him in a couple things. He's in a couple other things that I don't want to watch. I want to watch, but I don't want to watch. It's my scaredy pants stuff. Like Lovecraft Country, looks phenomenal. Can't watch it. I can't watch it. But there's so much about this movie to love. Before we get into it even deeper, again, there were a couple movies back in the 70s. I think Jim Brown was in one, ex-football player. But most of the movies you look at from back in the day are not black westerns. There's a black person in it, and typically on the poster, there's a white dude next to it. There's a white guy standing next to the black dude in the poster. It's just a western with some black people in it. Different thing. This is a black western. And what you get from creating what I would determine to be a completely brand new genre, as I said before. I have not seen anything like this movie before. You get to do whatever you want. And that's what they did. The music for this movie, I can't wait to download the soundtrack. Okay? Most of the Western has hip-hop playing underneath it, R&B, reggae. I think I might have heard some dance hall. It's got all of it in it. You got, I told a friend this, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You got so many scenes. There must be 20 minutes of watching Brad Pitt drive a car. He's not saying anything. He's not doing anything else. He's just driving through Hollywood in a car, and they're playing music under it. This movie, they got black people riding horses in the desert and across the plains, and some hard thumping hip hop is playing underneath it. And I couldn't get enough. I could not get enough. They also use some music and spoken word to almost narrate you through some scenes, which just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Dig a little deeper. We've got so many strong women in this movie. Remember the times. We're talking about Western, old-timey Western times, right? Got so many strong black women. Some of them good, some of them bad. This is life, right? But so many strong black women, business owners, right? Like, all of it. They deal with gender fluidity. I can't believe gender fluidity, sexual orientation. These are tiny bits of the stories, but they are parts of people's stories in this movie that help create and round out the characters and this society that these people are living in. Man. Then just some fun bits. I am a fight fan. I watch boxing, I watch the MMA, I watch all those things. And when you watch a fighter put together a combination, bing, 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 up to the head, to the body, hit people with 3-4 shots while they're standing, applause. That's fantastic. Your accuracy is phenomenal, right? What I like even more is when they're binging someone up, blows to the head, blows to the body, while the person is on their way to the floor being knocked out. I love that. I can't believe the precision they have. They did that in this movie with a man shooting a gun at somebody. So, couple shots, lifted the man in the air. Couple more shots, put the man down on the floor from out of the air. What more could you want from an action scene? What more could you want? The creativity also allows itself to be shown in the entertainment and the things that these people are living their everyday lives through. Like I said, there's a business owner, someone owns a saloon. The saloon has live entertainment, and they get to create whatever kind of music they want to create from that time period, because no one can tell you it's not true. Right? So you could see some of the influences. You could see the hip hop influences. You could see the blues influences. You could see the stepping influences. And they just took that and put it back in that time with these people and created amazing rhythms. And guys, the harder they fall. It's amazing. Someone asked me to put a number on it, rated at 1 to 10. I can't. There's no scale. They just created the scale. Everything else in this genre is going to be compared to this movie. Speaking of which, in doing some research, there is a movie called They Die at Dawn. All the same characters, directed, I believe, by the same person, James Samuel, I believe is his name, Jeymes. I think he acted in that one, but he directed this one. And that was a short. It was only like 50 minutes, had Michael K. Williams in it, and a whole host of other strong black actors and actresses. But I can't find it. I can't find it anywhere. I can't find it on Netflix, can't find it on Prime. So if you hear this and you know where to find this movie, shout out your boy. It doesn't have the Netflix money behind it. Netflix really, I don't know what the budget was. It had to be high. It had to be high. Or these black people work some magic. But graphics, CGI, the music, the production, it was strong. This is a polished, great, visually appealing movie. Creative, unlike anything I've seen. And just truly a breath of fresh air. And once again, thank you very much for tuning in to It's in the Details. As always, please remember to share, like, subscribe, rate, review, comment wherever you get the show. We'll see you in a week. Peace.